Hey, welcome to the Mindset Arc podcast. I'm his host Dim, and it's episode 12 of 365 Project. I don't have a theme today that I wanted to talk about, so it probably will be just something that happened in the last days, something that I tried to learn, something that I encountered today. I will still try to make a point, but the purpose of this was to just turn on the camera, turn on the recording, and practice. Try to do something coherent. So let's see how it will today. So the main thing I wanted to address is sometimes there will be moments when you don't want really to do something that you have to do. That was today with me. I had a lot of stuff that I didn't do that I wanted to. I had a not really good start of the day. I skipped my gym. I skipped my morning routines. So everything goes not as it usually goes when I want to be productive. And previously that would have caused me to panic. It did for a couple of times. I was always worried that, oh, today will be a waste of my time. I cannot get myself productive. I cannot do as much as I wanted to yesterday or even at the start of the week. It's just not goes according to plan. And this our obsession on details of how it doesn't go as I want it to be, it's like I was at war with reality. The interesting approach that I learned from Andy and from Byron Katie's books. Like the reality just exists, and sometimes it's not what we wanted to do, what I wanted, but it still exists. It's still there. So sometimes the best we can do is to just accept it and try to make the most out of it. The most out of today may not be much. I will not probably do a lot of things today, but instead of worrying about how today will be a failure, beating myself up for it as I would have previously, now I will choose to just accept it and see how it goes. And what usually ends up happening is it's not as bad as I actually thought. Yeah, I skipped a lot of things. Yeah, I probably could have done a much better job if I kept up with my rituals, forced myself to do all of this, forced myself to go out of the house, to go to the gym, and all of this stuff at the morning. Maybe I would have felt better now, or maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe what I am doing right now is me being more productive than I would have been if I started my day from my routines. I don't know. That's the point. You don't always know what could have happened. I would say even we don't know what could have happened if we would have chose something different. The only thing that matters is I made this choice. I made this choice to go to sleep more, to start the day from the lazy note, from spend a couple of hours not being in the mood to do anything. Like, I could say it was a shitty start of the day. Does it matter now? No, I can see why I did that. I can see why I chose to do that. Because I thought it's what I needed at this time. That's what we always do. We always choose something that we think is better for us. Every choice we make is for the better. If you just imagine the situation when you have to choose, and you have two choices between you, one that you think would be good, and one that you think at that moment that you think would be worse than the other choice. You will always choose something that is better for you, that you think is better for you in that moment. No matter the reasoning behind it. All the reasoning combined caused you to think that this choice would be for the better. And even later you think back and you look back and think that, oh, that was a poor choice. Well, it didn't. It wasn't at that time when you decided. If you knew that other choice, like maybe the worst choice, would be better, you would have chosen then. It wouldn't have been the worst choice, it would have been the best choice. Like I'm rambling too much about it, but the main point is in the moment we're always choosing something that is best for us. We just it is impossible to do otherwise. So to look back at something that is already happened and blame it, blame yourself, be miserable about it, cause yourself additional suffering, it's just not required. It can be useful sometimes, but it's not what you have to do. You don't have to blame yourself for something that didn't go as you wanted it to be. Like, in the past, there are no bad and good choices. There are just choices that you made in the moment. And the best you can do is to accept it. I wrote a good article about this, one of my best ones to date. How your past self is an unexpected wise man. It's it's an interesting thought that just came to me at one of the days. And then I realized that it's one of the most important mindset switches that I ever had. It's like you don't know in the moment when you are making the choice that what it will cause. You can only rely on the fact that whatever you are choosing, it's the best you possibly can do, and it is always like that. You don't know what it will turn out to be. That is up to the reality. That is up to something higher than you, something external. The most that you can do is to choose in the moment. Whatever you end up choosing, any decision is the best one. And then you can adjust later. You can make additional choices. You can make additional course corrections. But that initial choice was the best you possibly can. It was the most genius choice, the most wise choice you possibly could have done. Because for all the information you had at this moment, for all the information I have this exact second when I choose the next word I want to say, all the information that I have causes me to do that. And I don't have this additional information that I will have years later, months later, even 1 minute later. Maybe I will say something in 1 minute that will just cause me to look back at this minute and decide like, oh, I didn't really was coherent, or I could say I was doing a bad job, but I didn't. Right now, when I'm doing this, when I'm speaking, it's the best I could possibly do in that moment. So it's a good thing to accept it and not go to war with it. So going back to the original topic I wanted to talk about, well, I guess that is what I wanted to talk about because I didn't have a topic. And that thing is really important to me about choosing, about accepting the past. I had a huge problem with that before. I thought about some things and I regretted them. I thought I was making the bad choices. But when you actually stop and think about it, it still gives you something. It still gives you something to learn for the future. It causes you either to get some material bonuses, right? When you actually succeed, when you actually get immediate rewards after that, be it psychological, material, doesn't matter. Or anything you do, it can cause you to think about it, or it could cause you to get experience, or at the very least, if it doesn't add to any other area of your life, it at least gives you this idea that this is something I don't want to really do in the future. I did that, yes. I thought it would have been a great choice, yes. It, I needed that for some reason. Maybe I didn't feel right when I do that. Maybe I didn't feel even today when I went back to sleep. Maybe I didn't want, like, I didn't think that, oh, I like this. I like that can get back. I was thinking about, oh, how bad it is that I cannot go to the gym. Like, I just can't. I just don't have the energy and all. But I chose this for a reason, because ultimately, because all the reasons combined, all the points of view combined, they caused me to think that going back to sleep would be the best idea. And it probably was. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And there is always the possibility later to make it better. That's what I'm doing right now. Up to this point, I didn't have a lot of productive things. Like, it's already 1 p.m. and I didn't do much. I I didn't do anything. Like, I just was having a lazy, really lazy day. And now I have a lot of job debts. I have a lot of things that I would be better to catch up with. And in the evening, I will have a lot of stuff to do. But up to this point, if I don't do a really great job, if I don't have a plan for this podcast, if I don't have an idea of what I will do later, just like if you trust that every choice will be for the best, it's easier to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, there is another technique that you can do that I am doing right now. It's to just think of the next thing you can do. If you're in the moment of absolute laziness, not wanting to do anything, not feeling productive, being down, being depressed, no matter what. Just think about the next very thing you could do. It can be infinitely small. It can be even just, I don't know, for me it was like going on a balcony and just for a minute and enjoying what's happening outside. Or making myself some coffee. Or then I chose to start this video and try to speak something without any script at all. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, there's always something you can do. One of the Andy's phrases as well that really helps me. Sometimes sometimes where everything just goes not according to plan, and you cannot really plan in that moment. You think that everything that you thought you would do, it's not happening. It's hard to find something to strive for this day. You're trying to look ahead and think, oh, how would this day look like if I'm starting it from that shitty practice, right? But sometimes the best thing in these situations is to not think too far ahead. Even thinking at what will this day will look like in a couple of hours is too much. Sometimes it's more than we can handle. It's definitely more than I can handle right now. So it's beneficial to just look at the next thing that is possible. Just connecting the camera and turning it on. Just connecting everything and turning it on and not thinking about what I will say. It could have been a 1-2 minute rant about how bad I feel, and I would have ended it. Yeah, it was a possibility. And look what happened. I'm talking for 17 minutes already, and I would consider my points are good. I may not be able to underline them correctly or speak them really coherently or easy to listen way. I just don't have the practice. I don't have the skills yet. But I like what comes out. I like the points I am talking about right now. And I wouldn't be able to imagine that I will be able to speak that, to have this focus. I would imagine I'm speaking right now better than in my last couple of videos. Definitely, like, probably more better than in any of them. And that surprises me. And I didn't think today would be a good job. I just didn't know until I started and actually tried. So I want to end this up already, but I guess the underline of this episode, what I want to leave you with today, is there are some techniques if you don't feel good to, if you feel kinda down. Firstly, don't treat it as a bad thing. It's just a reality, and you can adjust to it. Just accept that probably you won't do a best job. It may be it. You may surprise yourself. You may do the best job you possibly can. Like you can be more productive than on other days if you just start. You just don't know until you actually do that. So sometimes it's just beneficial to just start doing something and see where you will end up. So that's the first thing. Don't treat current state as an ultimate state that cannot be changed. Secondly, just accept it and work with it. Try to do the best the minimum that you actually can do. Don't focus on something you cannot do. That is really depressive line of thought, and it's not really actionable. You will just dwell on the possibilities and be miserable. I do that sometimes as well, for a lot of times, yeah. So just see that something that you can do right now. Even if it's, I recorded the video a couple of days ago about how doing something can be productive as well, can be actionable. So if all you can do is to sit and just think about your thoughts, think about what you want to do, and dismiss everything and just keep sitting and watching the things that you cannot do actively, it can be beneficial as well. Go back and watch it. It was three episodes ago. I go into details how to do that. Yeah, something actionable, something infinitely small, if that is all you can do. But at least it's something. And the third thing is to focus only on the next thing you can actually do. Not think too far ahead, not think how it all will turn out to be. Just ask yourself, what can I do right now? This exact moment. Again, it doesn't have to be something really big. It can be small. But what you can do right now. And do that. After you will end this. No, Google, I'm not talking to you today. After you will end this action, then you just ask yourself again and again, and that's how your day goes. Then, looking back at it, you may be surprised how it will turn out to be. Or it can be the day when you don't actually do much. You'll do like just 5 small actions, and that is all you can do. And that is okay. It's only one day out of weeks, months, years of your journey, of your progress. It probably even gets you to relax a bit, to recover some energy, even if you don't feel like it. If you don't do much, you're probably conserving energy, you're probably collecting energy to do something better in the future. Or you might need it for something else. So don't think too bad about how it is in the moment. Just try to focus on the next best thing you can possibly do, and that is okay, no matter the result. So that's what I want to end you. I don't want to end you. That's what I want to leave you with today. And as always, live your life and have fun with it.